Welcome everybody, I'm Dr. Dan Fleischman, President and Founder of the Ezekiel Center. Please do me a quick favor and remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Welcome everybody. I hope this video finds you well. We're in a little bit of a global crisis right now. At least it's whipped up in a frenzy in the minds and the psyche of people. I'm not here to deny or say that a coronavirus or any other global pandemic or epidemic or anything else doesn't exist. But what I am going to suggest to you is how you handle any particular crisis is the way you handle life. It's the way you handle everything. Are you rushing out to the store and you're snatching up all the toilet paper, you're snatching up all the cleaning products, even if you don't need it? Look, how you do anything is how you do everything. How you act internally in a crisis and how you manifest that externally is really a true character of who you really are and how you handle life. Look, let's face it. We know from the facts from the CDC and the World Health Organization that yes, this thing is spreading, but if you get it and if you're fairly young, if you're not elderly and you're not immunocompromised, it's kind of like a cold. Okay, or a bad flu, or you're gonna recover, you're gonna be fine. There's a percentage of the population that is gonna be more vulnerable than others, but I'm not here to talk about that. What I'm here to talk about is how you respond in a crisis. Are you going to be whipped up in a frenzy by what you see on the media? See, the collective unconscious, the outside voices that are yammering and chattering in your head that make you want to go out and snatch up all the cleaning products and toilet paper that you can possibly grab and ignore your neighbors, ignore your fellow brothers and sisters, ignore the people who maybe are in need, maybe need a helping hand. See, we're told in this climate to isolate, to self-isolate, to batten down the hatches, to get ready, and it's really showing very, very dramatically in our environment now, isn't it? Now, people are whipped up with such fear, such anxiety, and I'm not here to tell you to calm down, because that's one of the worst things that I could tell you in a crisis. Say, calm down, because that's just going to whip you up more in a frenzy. But what I am here to basically say is stop, pause, take an internal check. What are you really afraid of? I mean, really, what are you really afraid of? Are you afraid of dying? Are you afraid of getting sick? Are you afraid of possible economic hardship? Are you afraid of scarcity, not having enough? What is driving you to these different behaviors that you're seeing yourself? Forget about other people for right now. I'm talking to you. It's just you and me. We're just chatting here. What drives you to behave in a certain way? To either be loving or to be stingy and to be hoarding and to be all these other behaviors? I'm going to ask you a question. Are you proud of the way you're behaving currently? Are you proud of the way that you're feeling? If you were right now in front of the Creator, do you think the Creator would praise you or condemn you? If you're not proud of the way that you're behaving, then we would suggest that you need to alter that behavior. Well, how do you alter that behavior if you're already whipped up in a frenzy and you're in panic mode and you're scared? Well, you take a deep breath and we go through, well, what's the story that you're telling yourself? Well, you're hearing about this coronavirus and it's causing the stock market to crash and it's causing people to get sick, and some poor unfortunate souls, yes, are passing. It may be their time. That sounds harsh, but we need to dial back a little bit more and figure out what is really behind your behavior. And if there's a specific fear that you're tackling, which I suspect that there is, then we need to address that. And then with that specific fear, whether it be loss of health, loss of life, loss of finances, loss of independence, loss of freedom. See, there's lots of loss and fear that people can can have. So then we need to identify, well, then what is that core emotion between that loss? Well, you might say you just identified it as fear. Well, fear of what specifically? What do you think is specifically going to happen? Are you being grateful in your life for what you already have? Maybe you have plenty and you're going out and you're grabbing more. Maybe it's a wise precaution that in some households, maybe you need certain things and it's wise to go out and get things. I'm not denying that. What I'm trying to get at is what's driving the over-the-top behavior that is causing you to respond in such a way that under normal circumstances, you know in your heart of hearts you would behave and act differently. I want to get to the bottom of getting you centered, getting you back to Creator, getting you in that space of the heart of hearts that you know that you're safe, that everything's all right. No matter what happens, Creator takes care of you. Creator loves you. See, so many people whip themselves up in such a frenzy that they create a self-fulfilling prophecy, don't they? You know, there are some studies that have been done that with people that have multiple personalities, that they will exhibit different disease processes within those personalities depending on what personality has what disease process. And then when the person goes into another personality, the disease process goes away and they manifest something else. So whether you're sick, whether you're well, we would suggest that your mental status, what you think, your emotional frenzy or lack thereof, depending on where you're at, if you stay centered, or unless you don't, will determine how healthy you stay in a crisis like this. See, some people under hypnosis, if they believe that they have a third-degree burn, they will literally manifest blisters on their skin. How does that happen? The mind is a powerful thing. If you believe you're going to get sick, well, by golly, maybe you should stock up on toilet paper and hand sanitizer and cleaners and all that stuff, because you might manifest something within you that you would not ordinarily be susceptible to until you convince yourself otherwise, or you allowed outside influences to convince you otherwise. You know, I hear a lot of spiritual people, when things are good, talk about, oh, how peaceful and zen that they are. You know, I guess a crisis like this, the thing to be really grateful for is that a crisis can bring out the true characteristics of who you truly are inside. Think about that for a second. Are you allowing the voices and the outside influences of others to change who you really are on the inside, or is the outside crisis demonstrating to you who you really are and maybe what you need to go inside and work on, to change, to become at peace with yourself, to become loving again, to become closer to Creator, closer to God? I want to invite you to join our classes and our workshops. Now, yes, in respect to CDC and all that World Health Organization, not to add to the frenzy, but more to acknowledge the respect of where people currently are. We are suspending, for the time being, live classes, but we will be here for you online. And we have live Zoom classes where we can interact, where we can talk, and we can chat, and we can help you through this process of whatever pandemonium and chaos you're experiencing in your life. You know, I heard a story recently of a woman in a local grocery store. She was an elderly woman, and she went to pick up something as simple as toilet paper. And she walked in the aisle and noticed, like many of us have noticed these past few days, that the aisles are essentially wiped clean and empty of toilet paper. This elderly woman sat in the middle of the aisle, looked at the empty racks, and cried. Let's elevate beyond that Let's help our fellow brothers and sisters. Let's bring peace, harmony, tranquility, and the love in our hearts back. Let's strike that balance. I love each and every one of you and look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you for listening.